Hey guys, and welcome back to another Cultured Boys discussion. I'm Pepe, and as always, I'm joined by Nathan. And today we're going back to our Just Chattings. Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, no real subject today. I haven't spoken to Nathan in what it feels like quite a while, actually. I feel like it's we've been moving records around a little bit. So
Yeah. Actually, thinking about it, like a proper, just average conversation. We haven't had, a normal conversation outside of records
nah.
for quite a while now, feels like.
No, because usually, like, I don't know, yeah, we talk to each other like each week on records, and like sometimes we have little game nights here and there.
Yeah.
But like honestly, it's been a while since I've actually like talked to you about stuff. Funnily, but
I mean, life's just
yeah,
gotten
bro,
busy over the last couple of weeks or so, innit? So,
it really has. Like honestly, like it's one of those things. I think I mentioned in the previous episode that like I used all of my work holidays in literally the first half of the year, and then
yeah.
suddenly somehow in the space of August and September, it has been such a busy couple weeks or like past month. It's absolutely nuts that like it's gone down that way. But yeah, I thought, oh, okay, all my like 3 days behind me. I'm just gonna be doing work and like 3 weekends now.
Nah.
So nope, that literally like there's so much travel going on, and honestly, it's like I don't know how it's happened. Like I've like obviously stated previously, I live in Liverpool, and like obviously traveling back and forth to London quite a bit, and it is just like I've been traveling almost every single weekend
Yeah.
like back and forth recently. Like, and it's like I'll be spending a few days here, a few days. Man, the travel, it's tiring, bro. It's tiring.
The funny thing is, even with all that traveling you've been doing back and forth, the amount of times you've been back here and I could have gone
Yeah.
to meet you. We could have hung out at any point. I still haven't. Like, not
Nah,
not from a
it's
I
yeah.
want to throw it out there. It's not because we're like, oh, some sort of oh, the culture boys are sick of each other or whatever. No, it's just
It's just time. Honestly, as
stuff
well
in
as
it.
much as
Like,
time, as many times as I have been down, I've been barely able to make plans with anyone because I will usually come down for a certain reason for certain things, and
yeah,
literally these weekends have been like booked up. Like I'm like doing stuff with my parents sometimes, or it's like I've come down for someone's birthday,
yeah,
or it's something like that. Like and like even like this week it was like, oh, I basically come down for work was one of the main things I came down for. So it was like, even though I would have had a bit of free time, it wouldn't have been enough to be like, actually hanging out with people.
the
That's the one
the
thing of
funny
it.
thing is,
So
I mention it like, oh yeah, I had the time. I didn't even have the
yeah,
time to come hang out with you anyway. Like thinking about it, like last couple of weeks, like stuff has been picking up for
mm,
me on my
yeah,
side stuff, and it's just like
yeah,
I,
man.
I
Nah,
don't
that's
even
good to.
I don't talk about it much here. I'm cryptic as
No,
fuck,
no, no.
but like Pepe
Yeah,
knows roughly, and like I've just been doing a lot, and I've still got
yeah,
something going on every day this week.
yeah.
I Today was the first day, right, that I've actually had time to just sit and not do anything for hours on end.
Oh wow. Okay, how was that?
It's weird. It's weird. Like, especially because like Pepe knows, I used to be the kind of person that had all the free time in the world, and I would love just sitting around doing fucking nothing, absolutely nothing. And now I've gone complete 180, at least the last couple of weeks, where I'm just like, I haven't got any time for myself, man. I got this going on, I got that going on, like just
Hmm.
day after
Well,
day.
at least you're keeping busy. That's the main thing of it, though. Like,
I mean, it is, but I'm not quite reached that point where I'm like, I'm
mm,
strained, I'm spread too thin, I need to take a break. But
yeah,
like
yeah.
today being like the first day where I'm like, oh, I don't really have to do anything. Felt
Mm.
nice. It felt nice.
Yeah. It's like it's one of those ones where it felt weird. Even though I did have Sunday free this weekend, it was it was one of those ones where like I'm so used to doing Cultured Boys on the Sunday, and having a day where I actually wasn't recording anything for Cultured Boys was so weird.
Do you know what? It is really funny when you get into like a routine like that. Because like Pepe said earlier, because things have come up, we've had to move a bunch of records around and stuff. So like, yeah, there's been a couple of like Sundays where we haven't recorded, and I just sort of get up and I'm like, what do I do now? Because like there's like that 2 or 3 hours it normally takes on a
Yeah.
Sunday, and now you're like, oh, I've got an extra 2 or 3 hours. What do I even
That's
do?
that's the one thing with it because usually like if usually, like, we are still recording on a Sunday regardless, even if I have travel plans. We just
Yeah.
put it back. Like, a little bit behind the scenes, like, me and Nathan have a very regulated time of when we
Oh, yeah.
record Cultured Boys. It, like, I'll tell you now, it's like, there's a certain point in the day, it's usually early afternoon.
Yep.
And it's and some days it's like I'm traveling back and forth to London, like, to be like doing stuff. So I'm like, Nathan, I can't make this certain time. Let's do it later.
Yep.
And then it'll be like, so it'd be like probably late at night that we end up recording these things. And even on a Sunday, like, even when we do those later records, it feels like I'm still doing stuff, and then I
Yeah.
get home and I have to record. I've never had a Sunday, or like it's very rarely like that you've had plans on the Sunday, where it's either we'll either double up on some things or we'll do it later. I've never had a Sunday where I've just been like, oh, I've literally got nothing to
Yeah.
do
It's weird, isn't
on
it?
the Sunday. And it's so strange. I have because like I just don't like recording from my parents' place because I just like I have to lug a whole load of stuff down for it, and that's ag. So like I always just keep my recording stuff here. And it's just like it's so weird just not doing it, not having any plans on a Sunday now.
Well,
That I find it so
it's
strange.
also because like, we've been on such a consistent streak at the moment, so we haven't
Yeah.
I touch wood, touch all the wood everywhere. We haven't
Yeah.
technically, besides the 1 week at Christmas where we take off on purpose,
Mhm.
we haven't missed
Yeah.
an upload for quite a while.
Nah.
So, like, we've been really consistent on the record, the edit, the upload. So,
Mm.
like, when we don't have a Sunday now where we do something,
Mm.
it also kind of weirdly feels wrong, even though I know we've moved it to another day. Because it's like, you sort of get antsy because it's like, oh shit,
Mm.
have we got the
Yeah.
content ready? Like,
It
what's going
feels
on?
because with the thing with Cultured Boys is that it is like a constant in our lives, as weird as that sounds,
Yeah,
because even if you're not editing it that week, you still have to check over. Like we always send each other the episodes to actually look over. So like just because I don't know, just so we're aware what's actually going out. So there is always and we always record as well. But having what was basically a week and a half without Cultured Boys was just like right. It feels strange, man. It's a very strange thing to not actually do it because I got the edit of the previous episode over to you really early as
yeah.
well. So like even with that, that was like I don't know, quite well, but like, I don't know. It feels strange not like having it like or having it at the back of your mind for a while. Like for example, when we've done this episode, I've literally got like 2 or 3 days, and I'm going to be starting editing it. Usually, I've got to give myself a week or whatever. But honestly, it's been such a busy few days this week. Like literally, like I got back from London yesterday, like yesterday afternoon, and I got back, did work or whatever, and then it hit 8 o'clock, and I was like, I'm done, bruv. I'm literally like, I need sleep. I slept from 8 p.m. and then woke up at 8 a.m. I had a full 12 hours sleep.
Wow.
Like I was just that knackered because it's so much traveling. Like honestly, I was just so done, man. Uh,
Dang,
like it,
dude.
but I also forgot what state my flat is in when I left it. You know when like you think, oh yeah, like future you will deal with this problem. I literally got home and I forgot that basically for my previous trip to London, I took a bunch of clothes with me as well.
Yeah.
Like so, like I had those like just lying around for a bit, and I needed to, like I brought them up in a suitcase, and I was like, oh, I need to actually unpack the suitcase to bring down again for things, and then I literally got home and I was like, I need to sleep, I need to sleep, I'm just gonna go straight to bed. Looked on the bed, there's fucking 3 piles of clothes on the bed. And I was like, fuck's sake, I gotta find places for these things. And literally, I can't eat. Excuse me. Literally, I'm like getting like my throat's getting agitated just from saying it. Like literally, I was just so pissed off with myself. Like, for fuck's sake! Of course, like there's just I have to do work at home now to actually move stuff around. Like so, like oh no, like I don't think I ever expected to be that tired. That's the one thing of these things.
You
Like
never
I
do
always
though.
get home and
You literally never
nah,
do. Like, you don't realize it until literally, like you said, the day after when you're like, yo, I just slept for 12 hours. Like,
no, oh
that's
man,
when you
yeah,
realize how much you like were running yourself down. Cause like, I can't
mm,
remember that. I actually don't even remember the last time you ever told me like I slept for 12 hours. Like, that's how long it's been
nah.
since you've
I
ever.
think that I think the last time I slept for that long. God, I think it's either been after a heavy night out where I've just needed to just like recuperate from something. Like 'cause it's just usually a lot of drinking usually. Um,
Drink responsibly.
uh, drink responsibly. But like It's like either that kind of thing or it's like after this, like it's a bunch of traveling. Usually it's traveling. Like I feel like I'm one of those people that I can't really sleep on planes that well unless I'm absolutely knackered
Oh,
as
yeah, I
well.
feel you on
Like
that.
yeah, like I think it takes a lot for me to fall asleep on a plane. I think like I think it was when we went to Japan, like probably in 2019, I think it was.
I think yeah, I'm pretty sure we were up most of the time. I think at one point when we went out, at one point I think you fell asleep and I was still up. And then I
Yeah.
think there was one point I fell asleep and you were up.
Hmm.
But
It's like a weird like change in
yeah,
thing,
it
yeah.
turns out all you have to do is watch a really shitty film. At least in my case. I watched several
I
of them.
do remember.
So
I remember. I think going there, I slept a lot easier, but we did also have a lot more leg room going there
yeah,
on the
that is
long haul
true.
flight.
Yeah.
Is the way back, which I found a lot harder.
I think that's
And
what it is. Where I was definitely less
yeah,
comfortable on the way back. Felt more cramped.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's because like we were blessed. Weirdly enough, like, I can't remember if we mentioned this in the Japan episode or on the plane there. Because I think in the Japan episode we talked about our experience on in Japan, not the planes of Japan.
I don't even
I feel
remember,
like,
you know? Like
but no, there's a Japan episode somewhere
oh,
of
yeah,
us
yeah, yeah,
talking about that.
that's a long time
Um,
ago.
that was a while ago. But yeah, like when we were flying there, I remember like we sat in seats and then they actually pulled us back, didn't they? We were about to board the plane.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the stewards were like, hold on, you two come with me. And I was like, oh my God, what's happened? Like, what have we done? And then they're like, okay, yeah, so your TVs and your seats are broken. And we are like, oh, okay. And it's like, well, do you want us to move you?
Yeah, we can move
And
you to different seats that have working
yeah,
TVs, and we sort of looked at each other like, "Do we care about the
because
in-flight entertainment?"
I very rarely watch movies on planes as well because I don't like the way that because it's a small TV in the back of a seat. It's not the best way to watch a movie in my opinion.
I mean, it's
It's
not,
good to
but
pass the time,
I mean, I
but
think that's
yeah.
why we said yes in the end was just because it was like, well, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it.
Yeah, exactly. So we just agreed to have this TV thing. And they like obviously changed the seats for us and stuff. And we got a whole row to ourselves
Yeah,
basically.
literally.
Like so that was that's what felt so good. Like we just like literally just was able to spread out between three seats. Was it three or four seats? I feel
It
like it was
was
three seats.
3 seats. We left the middle one open. It was just
Yeah,
so we were on the ends and like
it
we
was.
were
Yeah.
we were further forward in the plane, so like there wasn't even that many people around us generally as well.
No, no. I think even yeah, like I remember my main thing that I took away from that plane journey there was the fact that one, we had the seats and we decided to build like a weird passenger
Oh
out of all the
yeah.
cushions that they gave us. So there's literally us two, and then there's weird cushion being
Yep.
between us with basically all that where we put our bags as
Can't remember
well.
what we named
Uh
him or it.
yeah, no, probably Jeff or
I have no idea.
Sato Takahashi
Oh
or something
god.
like that. um, but that was one thing I remember from that plane journey. The other thing I remember, I found it so jokes at the time, is that I think I mentioned to you that there was a guy to the left of me who like he had a whole row to himself
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he basically sprawled out like he was literally using those three rows as his home.
I remember that,
Basically,
yeah.
he was like in his suit as well. He was in a suit and tie and all sorts.
No, I remember that guy because at one point I woke up because he'd just come out of the toilet. We were sat right in front of the toilets. And
Yeah.
then I was like, I put my foot down. I was like, oh, why is my sock wet? Turns out this dude had walked round our seats to go to the toilet behind
Mhm.
me, and he'd like
Yeah.
proper like done a proper sink wash and everything. Like he washed his hair fully, and he didn't dry it.
Literally.
He was like dripping wet as he came out, and there's just water all over the place. I'm like, this guy is a maniac. What the fuck
Yeah.
is wrong with this guy?
Because that's the thing. Like, I always take my shoes off when I get on the plane as well. I'm not sitting down in shoes for like, sleeping in shoes for 12 hours or however, like 8 hours probably.
Yeah.
But like, it was just one of those ones where like, I did the same as you. I remember getting like a sock wet. I was like, what the hell is this? And it was just like, because I think, like you said, we did that interchanging thing where like I was asleep and you were asleep at different times. But boy, it was just like
Again,
I was
my man
it's a
washed his hair
surprise.
in the sink of the toilet.
He literally had like a full bathe. I'm pretty sure that
I
because
wouldn't be
bear in mind,
surprised
yeah,
because
100%.
I actually went to use the toilet a little bit later, and I put my shoes on because I remember dude come out soaked, right?
Yeah, yeah.
There was fucking water everywhere in that toilet.
It was, weren't it? It was
Absolutely
all over the
everywhere.
floor.
And I was like,
Yeah.
right, so this dude is clearly just like, again, I don't know if he like he did a proper like try to shower in there, like a towel wipe down or something. But
Yeah.
it was fucking soaked in there. Like someone had just like been splashing water all over the bloody
Isn't
place.
it? It's like you could never make that much mess in an airport bathroom unless you were doing something wild. That's what it is. And he was literally just there, like you said, because he had his hair wet. We knew that. We
Yeah.
saw the guy. Like, and bear in mind, this guy, I want to emphasize this. He came on the plane with a full suit on as well. So he de-suited in his seat. And then he was sleeping in that thing across all 3 rows with his hair wet. Man must have I don't know, washed his pits or something in there as well, gone full
I don't know what
butt
that guy
naked
went
for all
through.
I know, man. That was like one thing that I remember from that plane journey. But going back to what I was saying about sleep is that is the only time I will try and sleep. And I think that going there, that was the easiest plane sleep I probably had in a while.
Same actually.
Even then,
But then
long haul is a struggle sometimes. You just can't get to it,
yeah.
and it feels like
Well, I think it's again because like sometimes like on a long haul flight, you're just too cramped. Feels like you're not very
yeah.
comfortable because like I'm not a very big person either,
Mm.
but even I feel like I'm kind of like sat with my shoulders in a little bit. My arms are like my elbows are overlapping with my rib cage, and when you're just like, this is humans should not be sat like
That's it, yeah.
this.
It's it depends on who you're next to in these sort of things, and I feel like when it's two or three people sat together, you kind of have like a little bit of understanding between yous.
Yeah.
I feel like when it's a stranger and they assert arm seat dominance straight off the bat, you're like, oh, this is gonna be a rough one. I know it is. Like, when they just sit down and they take the armrest, don't even
No,
slowly get
see,
in there.
it's not
It's
even
literally
just
just bang on the
it's not even
armrest.
just
That
the
is like,
armrest. It's when they take the armrest, but they're also either the window or the middle seat, and you're in the aisle, and
oh yeah,
and
okay.
then you're like, okay, this is how it's gonna be, is it? And like the whole time, they're not even gonna be the type of person that leans over like, oh, sorry, excuse me, could I just
Mm.
scooch across and go to the toilet? They just get
Oh,
up and then they start moving. You're like, oh, okay, so this is happening now. Do you know what I mean?
oh my
Like
god,
they're that type of
I hate
person. Oh,
I hate that. That's one of the things I like. I'm quite good with my bladder usually, so I can hold my toilet needs in for quite a while. I'm gonna put it that way. I don't know why I've said it
I
like that.
know this is where the conversation
Hold my
goes.
piss in for a long time, bruv. That's what I could have said. That's the other
Man,
option.
don't piss in it.
Basically, yeah, I can hold in my pee for a while. And
Oh
like,
god.
so I usually don't mind having the like window seat or preferably never have a middle seat.
Oh, I hate the middle seat.
I neither want a middle seat. That is like, nah, that's awful. Like,
Well, that's why we built the pillow
yeah,
person to take the middle seat, and
yeah, middle
neither of us
person,
were
yeah.
sitting in the middle because it was just like, no, fuck that.
Because bear in mind as well that this is like the middle aisle of the plane as well. So both me and Nathan, like, we didn't have to jump over each other to get out. We could literally just go our respective
Yeah, our
like sides
sides.
and just yeah. So we were good. Um, but nah, like, have you heard of this, by the way? I don't know if you've heard about this story in the news at all
What?
about this plane. I think it was going to Italy,
Wait,
and they had to.
is it the diarrhea plane?
It's the diarrhea
That's
plane.
Spain. The Spain
Was it
diarrhea plane.
Spain? It
Yeah,
was going to the
I saw it.
Spain diarrhea plane.
I can't remember
Yeah,
where I saw it, but I saw. Do you know what? Knowing my luck, I saw it on Twitter.
yeah,
I saw it on Twitter for
yeah.
whatever reason or something
Sure.
like that. Um, yes, I didn't understand the context, but I just sort of saw someone who had managed to get on and take video after everyone had left,
Oh,
and
I haven't seen videos of it,
it's
so
so they walk in the cabin and there's just sort of like tissues all over the place.
oh, oh man, I heard that
Luckily, I didn't. I wasn't paying super attention because I did read the caption before it played,
yeah,
but I was like, "What the fuck is this about?"
that is so bad. Like, imagine that. Like, for those who don't know the context of this, I'll give it a rundown quick. Uh, no pun intended.
Oh god! Oh god!
Sorry, that was a bit of a stinker.
Oh, you're the worst type of person. Yeah.
That's why I'm number two on this podcast, baby. Number two, get it. Anyway, what is going through?
Uh,
Basically, what happened basically is that a plane had to turn around because someone had what could be described as explosive diarrhea on a plane, and it was basically leaking across the cabins, like literally running down the aisles. And they had to turn the whole plane around 2 hours in, I believe, like so they could just deal with this
oof.
problem. And like I think apparently airport like it was not airport like cabin crew were doing everything they could to try and like minimize the situation,
That
but
would
all they were doing
explain why the cabin video I saw was just a bunch of fucking tissues and stuff all over the place.
what could you do, like if like you
Can you
can't
not
have
just
literally raw diarrhea running
but
through the
can you
plane,
not
you have
just,
to do
like,
something.
lock the person in the toilet? Like, just corner off
I
one
mean,
toilet and be like, "That's where they are now."
how does that even? Basically, though, like I don't know how it happened. Like how I don't know the whole details of it, but like why was that person not like given like in the toilet straight away? Like, oh, was there no toilets on that flight? I don't know the whole ins and outs
Oh
of it.
god, could you imagine? Yeah. I don't know, but there's medication you can also take.
It
Like,
depends if anyone. I mean, God, there must have been someone on that with that kind of thing. But it's so rare. Like, how often would you think I'm gonna have diarrhea on a plane?
no,
Like,
but, like, you everyone's had diarrhea, right? So you know the feeling,
yeah,
like, you know when something's wrong,
yeah,
and you know exactly how that feels, right? So it's like,
yeah.
how did you even let it get to that point?
Yeah, maybe they just hold. Like again, this is 2 hours in as well, so they had to fly back 2 hours later. Like, so bear in mind that's 2 hours of like literally of shit on the plane. That absolutely sick. Even longer than that, considering they had to probably make that decision to fly back.
Ugh.
But but the worst thing is though, when I'm reading this, like, it's the fact that that's made global news. Imagine you had an accident on the plane and you literally, okay, yeah, just like you shit yourself and it makes global news. Imagine that.
See, here's the thing
Imagine how
though.
that'd feel. That yeah.
Would you classify that as fame or infamy?
Oh, it's not fame, I'll tell you that. Like it like that is going down in the books, like the fact that you single-handedly stopped a plane
I
by
mean,
having
I
diarrhea.
I completely agree with you. You're
Yeah.
now infamous. That's not famous.
Yeah, that's that yeah,
That's
you don't
there's
like
no accolade in there that you should be
no.
claiming. But you know someone
No,
out
you
there
definitely shouldn't be proud of that. You
but
definitely
you know
shouldn't be
there is
proud of it.
someone out there that would be like, "Oh yeah, that was me. Of course it was me. I'm
Oh,
well
oh
famous now."
my
And be
god.
like, "You got something.
I've
You're
oh
wired
god, I
different,
don't
man."
I think you'd have to like it depends, like, because if people know that you're the airplane shitter, then like, oh no, man, like you're gonna live with that. Like that if their face did get publicized, I doubt it would do because that's like literally horrible if you found out like your image got leaked on that. Like,
I'm
but
sure as much as people try to be ethical about it, I'm sure someone will
yeah.
find who it is.
Like, I really hope not. For that person's sake, I really hope
Oh yeah,
that.
you would die of embarrassment.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
is that is one of those situations where I could confidently
Mm.
say die of
Yeah.
embarrassment.
Yeah. If the diarrhea ain't getting you, the embarrassment will.
Well,
Like, shit, man.
I'm,
No pun intended.
God damn you! God fucking damn it! Like,
I'm so
yeah, you
sorry.
in that situation, I wish I would have died of dehydration from the diarrhea. To be honest,
Oh god, that's so bad. Like, I don't know, like, imagine just like on that plane for that long, man. Like, and dealing with that smell. Like, it'd literally knock you sick, surely, because like when you get like the raw smell of that thing. I don't know if you get that.
well, I mean,
Like,
like
if you
it's
just
already bad
so
enough
bad, it makes you
sometimes.
gag.
Sometimes when someone takes a shit on the plane anyway. You know, like some
Yeah.
flights, you're just like unlucky to sit near the toilet, and you're like, oh god, this is oh mate,
Okay.
like it's just
Yeah.
you get that raw smell constantly, but like it's that
Yeah.
where it's inescapable no matter where you are in the like. Ugh.
I don't know if this is TMI right now as well, but you know when you're on a plane, I could never poop on a plane. I get so bloated, and if I need to poop, it just never happens. Like I could never poop on a plane.
Fair desperation takes place. I don't have that issue
Uh,
personally.
Really? Okay, fair enough. But I don't know. I just get like that bloated feeling. I think I've like at one point I was like, I feel really bad right now. I could not like. I think as well, like me being like, I don't want to like make anyone feel uncomfortable in play. I'm not gonna fart in the cabin. I think that's one of the things as well. Like
Fair, fair.
I could never like. I think like I think that's probably why I hold in sometimes. Like realistically, this is a thing where like everyone's in the same boat together. You don't want to be making it uncomfortable for people. Two sides to this, right?
I
You
will
either be
agree
like,
with
"I'll
you,
hold it in." Yeah.
but you know everyone else doesn't agree with you, and everyone else, whilst lying to your face about it,
Mhm,
saying, "No,
mhm.
I don't fart in the cabin either." You're breathing
Yeah.
in everyone else's fart gas. You know that, right?
Right, okay, look, there's two sides to that thing, right? Because I think you're either gonna be that person that I can't do this because I feel like bad for other people, or like you said, you just fart anyway and then be like, "That wasn't me." Because
Yeah,
it's
but I
easy to
feel
say
like
that, isn't it? Because you
I feel like most people are not going to be like, "Yeah, I farted in there." I feel like most people are
yeah.
going to lie to your face, right? And be like, "Yeah, of
I
course. I don't of course I'm thinking of
yeah.
everyone else." It's like, "No, shut the fuck up. You're
This
liars,
is
right? You definitely fucking did it. And you're just sitting there playing us all for fools." Like,
playing us. I like to think he turns into a massive. Right, who keeps farting on this plane? Oh man, but like I don't know, like I just probably can't get away with it. Like I feel gassy, but I don't know, man. That's me. That's my bowel
I mean,
situations
again,
going
like
on.
if I'm desperate enough, it I got to use the toilet on the plane, like I just got to do my business.
Yeah,
I can't I just it's one of those where I'm like, do I want to sit on the plane uncomfortable as shit for X amount of hours, or do I just go and use the facility provided and hope that doesn't stink so bad that everyone else near the toilet dies?
yeah. It's always awkward when you do use the toilet. Like, because if I do need a fart, what I'll do is I'll get up and go into the cubicle and then just let it all out there. And at least it isn't so bad. At least it's in that enclosed space, and I don't know. You just put the flush on, and then like make it sound like you've gone to the toilet, so it doesn't feel
Yeah, and
so
then
bad. If
you
like,
wash your hair and you wash your body and you splash water all over the place, and then you come back out.
what if Japanese? What if that guy that we saw on the plane in the business suit actually just had explosive diarrhea and he just needed to cleanse his body of the whole thing?
Okay, then I could maybe
Th-
be like,
But,
okay,
but
that's
why
fine,
wash
but
the hair? The hair doesn't make sense unless he got it in his hair somehow.
I don't
Like
know. Maybe
it's-
he's just one of those people who are like, I feel very unclean and I feel disgusting now. So he's just like, clean it all, just
Yeah,
get rid of it all.
everything. Exercise the demon.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
isn't even tap water. It's holy water. Like get that shit off. Me. I must cleanse this
Uh,
ruddy devil. Oh
oh,
goodness
mate.
me.
Well, then
Uh,
I guess I won't complain so much about the water in the toilet then. If it was, if it was holy water, then it's like, okay, it's not. I guess it's not as bad.
Imagine having that much holy water on you for just in case
Well,
you have explosive diarrhea
the thing
demon.
is, the ironic thing is, we both know it could never be because that was back before they got rid of they started like easing that
Of
rule about
course,
over like what
yeah.
100 milliliters or whatever. So
Of
there is
course,
no way that
yeah.
dude had like
Imagine
a massive like fucking jug of like a fucking like 5 gallon
this is
jug of.
where we find out in that suit jacket of his, he has tons and tons of like little mini bottles of it. That he's just prepared. Like
He's
he's
just
actually an exorcist. He's ready to go.
mate. You know what it is? He's the real life version of Sterling Archer. He's just got flasks all over the place, but with like holy water. He's like, oh yeah, that's the good
Does
stuff.
thousands. I must be clean. Oh.
Jeez.
Another plane thing, by the way. I don't know if you. Like, this is just turning into a plane episode. Apparently, never expected
I
to go
guess
this way.
nostalgic for planes, apparently.
Yeah, God, I never feel happy
Yeah,
on
I
planes.
know.
However, there is an option. Like I heard this story recently, right?
Yeah,
Where was I think it's an airline is trialing child-free seating on planes.
I think I read
So
about this.
yeah, I think it may have been like I think it was like a week last week or week before. Basically, they're basically having like this small part of the cabin which is literally child free, so 16 and over. And basically you just get a child-free experience. If you're one of those people that really can't stand like sitting next to a baby on a plane or like kids kicking the back of your seats and that kind of thing, like basically it's that. So you avoid that experience. However, it is 50 quid more, and if you want extra legroom on top of that, it's I think 45 quid more on top, I think.
Wow. The sad thing is the amount of people I can imagine that will pay. Like those seats will fill faster than most of the
Yeah.
economy seats.
It's one of those things, I think if you really do feel passionately about, "I don't want kids on the plane," like, you will pay that money for it. You would
Well, that's the
just,
thing.
like if
Like
you're
it's
yeah.
besides like complaining about airplane food, the next
Mhm.
complaint is normally people saying like, "Oh, there's a kid on the fucking flight." Like, "Oh, there's
Mm.
babies." Like they're crying now. They're
Yeah.
running around now. They're doing kicking chairs or whatever, like moving seats and stuff.
Yeah.
Like kids are the next thing people complain about on flights.
Yeah.
So like those seats are definitely gonna sell out fast. I can
Yeah.
already see it. Like people are not gonna care. They're gonna pay that because they're gonna be like, "No, I don't wanna be near a bunch of screaming kids."
If you had the money to pay for that, would you? Would you pay for
No,
those seats?
because
Yeah.
I'm not that bothered to be fair. And normally
Mhm.
I'm so uncomfortable on a flight already anyway that
Yeah.
what's the kid gonna do? Like I'm already having the worst time.
Yeah.
I've got my earphones in and I can't sleep. I'm just getting
Mhm.
sick of my music. I've not got enough space. I can't sleep. I'm
Mm.
like everything that could go wrong, like living a human existence, is what I experience on a plane. So I'm like, just
Yeah.
add another thing on top. What? How could it get any worse than fucking what it
Yeah,
already
I
is?
get you, I get you because 'cause you're taking away one problem, but you're not taking if you're really having that much issues flying on planes, then taking away that one issue
Yeah,
doesn't
exactly.
exactly solve the rest of those things that you're having.
And I'm not. I don't want to jinx myself, but I've gotten pretty lucky most of my flights.
Yeah.
That I'm not normally okay, there's crying babies, but like I again I've got earphones in most of the time, so I'm listening to
Yeah.
something. I can't really hear them, but I've gotten fairly lucky. I haven't had too many kids like kicking the back of my seat. Like I've had it a fair few times, but not like enough to be like, my God, I'm gonna
Yeah.
scream at this kid's parents.
Yeah, I think it is one of those things where I have had kids kicking the back of my seat before. However, it's one of those ones where it happens very quickly at the start of the flight, and then they just stop doing it after a while. Like kids will actually just sleep anyway. This is one thing with kids.
Yeah, lucky little
Like when they get
fuckers.
like when they're past like the baby age or whatever and crying on flights, usually it's mad how quickly they actually tire out. And like more often than not, like I didn't realize I think I probably fell asleep quite a lot as a kid on a flight. It's only when I got into like 10 and upwards that I struggled to sleep on these things. Like, I think I'm gonna put it that way because I feel like it didn't bother me too much. Like, I think I could just sleep anywhere.
I think I slept a lot on
Like,
planes, but that's because as a kid I really didn't like airplane food. So I actually
oh,
didn't
but
eat
yeah.
on flights. And most of the flights I took as a kid were long haul flights. So I'm like not eating for like up to half a day. And you know when you're like under 10, like anything past I don't know, even like a half hour to an hour past your normal eating time. If you haven't eaten as a kid,
Mhm.
that's like now you're crying or some shit. Like I remember as a little kid, probably even past the age of 10, probably all the way up until maybe 14, I didn't really
Mm.
eat on planes, so I actually spent most of my time throwing up on planes. Just because,
Jesus Christ, okay.
well, yeah, because like you don't eat, so then you like, I don't know, like I just spent a lot of
Oh,
my time
dang,
sick
jeez.
on planes.
Is it? Do you think that's down to just not eating then, not just getting plain sick? Or like,
It wasn't
do
motion
you not get
sickness. I literally was just like, I don't know, like I just have a lot of memories of being sick on the plane,
right,
going
okay,
through like
fair.
a lot of sick bags. My parents who hated flying with me
Wow.
because I was me and my sibling were like constantly sick because we both didn't eat.
Yeah. I didn't realize that. I honestly didn't think, that was a thing. That if you just don't eat, you get sick. Like,
I mean, like nothing comes up
fair.
really. besides
Oh,
stomach acid,
yeah,
obviously, because you
but
haven't
that
eaten, but, like, yeah.
that's the worst kind of being sick though, the
Yeah,
bit where there's
true.
nothing there and it's literally not even water, like, it's literally just, like, the bile and stuff like that, like, that
Yeah.
is, like, literally that is the worst kind of sick. That's the one that you don't get that taste in your mouth, you're like, it makes you feel
Yeah,
even
see,
worse.
so that's why, like, for the longest, I actually hated flying because I
Yeah,
was just like, "Well, why do I wanna
yeah,
do that? I'm just always throwing up." Or, "Why do we keep doing
yeah.
this?"
Although, I will say now that I think the idea that plain food is bad is an old thing. I actually think plain
Yeah,
food
I agree with you
over
on
the
that.
past few years have actually gotten really freaking good. Like, it used to be that kind of thing like, "Oh, it's always bad." But I do agree with you. Back when we were, like, 10 and, like, a little bit even, like, up to the age of, like, 15 or
Yeah,
16,
it's pretty
even later than
awful.
that, it was bad. Like, it'd give you, like, some mash and it would be like, yeah, or, like, some chicken that there's just no flavoring on it.
No
And, like,
flavoring, and
these
it's, like, the hardest fucking thing.
it is great, it's like freaking yeah, it's like eating a flip flop. But, but these days, like, they actually do some decent stuff, you know? Like,
Yeah.
at one point, I had, like, I can't remember what flight I think it was, when I went to America. It was like they gave, like, a pesto pasta with, like, mozzarella balls in it and
Oh,
stuff, and I was like, "Bruh, this is" like, I'm amazed that this is so good. Like, this is really nice, and obviously, they give you the same kind of thing where it's like, "Here's a bread roll, here's
yeah,
your water," and stuff like that. You're like, "Here, choice of juice if you want juice."
yeah.
And it's like, that was actually really, that was a really positive experience. I think that was the last thing I remember. That was just really nice. Even then, like, when we went through to Japan, I feel like
Yeah,
the
the
food was
food there
quite
was
decent.
pretty good, actually. I remember us,
Yeah.
like, eating practically everything.
Yeah, that like honestly, like the past few years, like airplane food has really gone up in standard.
See, I
Uh,
wanna agree with you, but I also don't know how much of that is because I'm also grown up, so now I'm like, "Oh, well, I gotta eat," and I'm less
no,
picky about it.
I think we stand by what we said though, Nathan. I feel like airplane food back then was bad.
I mean,
Like
I
I look because I know I like good food, bro. You know I like good
mm,
food. We both like good food.
yeah.
We both like know what is a good meal. And those meals back then were not good. I'm
No.
sorry. Like you get a plain chicken breast with barely any seasoning, and you get some like I don't know mushrooms or something on it. It ain't good, bro. It ain't.
No, and it was also not mushrooms in any sauce or anything. So it wasn't like,
Yeah.
like some, "Oh, chicken in mushroom sauce." It was like rubber chicken with like microwave boiled mushrooms. Enjoy.
Yeah, it was obviously like it's all just heated up and it just is never good. There was no passion in that thing, in those things back then.
Yeah.
I think that's the one thing. Airlines obviously know that this is a thing, that airplane food is bad. And I think they
Well, I
probably actively went and corrected that,
how could
depending
you
on which
not,
airline you go.
though? When every comedian ever, it
It
became the
is.
trope to be like, "So what's the deal with
A deal.
airline food?" Boom, boom, boom. Like
Yeah,
once
yeah.
that
Play the
everyone's
Seinfeld
in it,
music.
and once everybody stopped doing that, it's like, I guess it got better then, or everyone just got tired of the joke. But it's probably both.
Yeah. I think it's like that it's so like overplayed that joke that like you look at airplane food now and it is actually quite good. I'm
I'm
gonna
not gonna
be that.
lie. So, the last couple of times I took a plane, mostly before
Yeah.
COVID. Now I haven't been on a plane since, but like I'm thinking about, I'm like, no, I enjoyed all that food.
Yeah. It's mad, isn't it? Like it has improved.
I
Maybe it's
I
like
cannot think of one meal in the last 4 flights I took before COVID where I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, that was awful. Like, no, I ate pretty much everything on
and
every
I
flight.
want to say this early on now as well, is that this isn't just like a singular airline problem. I feel like this is across all
Yeah.
airlines. In the fact that like I remember when I flew to St. Lucia back in 2009. I remember this exactly. That like I had food on that plane and it was awful, and that was a long haul flight. And that was Virgin Atlantic that I went on that. And like I've been on Virgin Atlantic a couple times since then. I think it might. Did we go? Did we go Japan Virgin Atlantic? I can't
No.
remember.
We
But
went Air China.
go Air China, right? Okay, fair. I think it must have been the couple times I've been to America. Then it must have been Virgin that I've flown with.
Going off of that, I have one memory, right? One
Hmm.
flight from my being a kid, one flight where I actually ate the food and I thought it was good. And that was
Hmm.
in 1999 when my
Wow.
family went to Florida on American Airlines. I ate because they basically served me a Happy Meal because I remember it was a burger and chips.
What?
On
Right.
an
Hold on a second.
American
How the kids eating better like on
that
these American
like,
airlines than like
that
half the
was
people? Like,
legit
what?
that was legit the kids' meal on that flight, and I remember because it was the only time on a plane up until that point I'd ever eaten the food. Every
How
other
is
time,
hold
I
on.
just threw it away, like, I just left it because 'cause I'd, like, look at it, I'd take a bite and be like, don't
Yeah.
like it." This,
Yeah.
I gobbled it down, and my parents are like, "Oh, shit, you ate." Like, "You actually ate something." I'm like, "Yeah, we got more." I wa
How is that a thing? How is like how like because that actually sounds like it probably would be quite decent. I don't know, like maybe it's like I don't know, just like burger and
it
chips or
it
whatever.
literally
Probably
was just like a school burger and chips. So it's not
yeah.
like, like
Okay, so
it
not the highest quality
yeah, it's
meat or
not the
anything,
highest
but it's
quality
like
meat, but,
it's
it's still that, like, little burger sort of flattish burger patty that
yeah,
it's got
yeah.
that certain taste to it, and the
Mhm.
buns were, like, decent, they weren't rock solid or anything. But I seriously do remember, like, that was the only time as a kid I'd ever actually finished a meal on a plane.
Yeah. 1999, as well. Jeez.
Yeah, I
Okay.
only remember because that was the year we went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Fair, man, fair. Alright, I'm gonna go like because I was the same as you as a kid as well. I really didn't like airplane food at all. And what I used to do, what my like parents were like, okay, look, just fill up at the airport, like eat whatever food you want at the
that's
airport, and then
smart.
that will hopefully cover you off. S- one year, because this is in my teens as well. I remember this. One year, I took that to the next level.
Oh god.
I really ate too much. Then I
Oh
didn't feel it
god.
until I got on the plane. Yeah, I had what must have been at least 10 Burger King mini donuts as well as my meal.
Oh my
And I
god.
feel so I ate that afterwards. I really filled up. I was like, because I was at that age where I knew I wasn't gonna eat the food. So I was like, I'm gonna actually like, yeah, take my parents' advice on this and actually, but I went too far with the
Yeah,
advice,
so
right?
now you're gonna
Uh,
throw up and wish
the
you
thing is, I do you know what point I threw up on the plane as well? It was before the plane even took off. So I was literally sat while the plane is on the runway, right? And like they might do the little reversing
Yep.
thing. And I was like, I said to my dad, I was like, I don't feel good. I feel like I'm gonna throw up. And he was like, "What are you serious?" So like because they did. It was at that point where they kind of stopped putting the sick bags in the back of
Yeah. Oh
the
man,
thing.
why did they stop doing that?
I don't understand why would they? Is it because people putting rubbish in them or whatever? But surely
Maybe,
with
I
that
don't know.
even with that kind of thing, you'd need to replace these every flight, even if it wasn't like even if they weren't used,
I
you
don't
probably
know,
want to
but if
replace
there was
them.
a kid that was like me, they're
Yeah.
gonna need a lot of them. You might as well just
Yeah,
put them
it
there so that your
but
parents can ask
uh,
around and grab unused
yeah.
ones from people's seats instead of like pushing the button every time and being like, "Can we get
Yeah.
another bag, please?
Because
Sorry."
that's one thing, yeah, in that kind of situation, that like those bags are tidy as well. You throw up in them, but
Yeah.
like, yeah, it keeps coming. This like being sick doesn't just be like, okay, one bag, you're
I
done.
know.
Like you end up more often than not filling up at least two bags. Or the size of those things were like tiny, from what I remember anyway.
Yeah, sort of. They're not
Yeah,
great,
like
huge.
I like to compare them to the size of what you'd have as like a bag of a pick and mix.
See,
You know what I mean?
I had the same thought. I just didn't want to say it out loud because now there's
Yeah.
probably a bunch of people like, yeah, I'm never having a pick and mix again. There's
Nah,
other
well,
reasons why
I
you
hope
shouldn't, but I'm not going to ruin other people's
like
experiences.
for the people watching, we're not gonna put like a bag of pick and mix with vomit on it on screen. Let's put it that
Oh
way.
God, no.
Unless
Look, I have to get these images and we have to edit these videos. Neither of us want to look at that. Okay, like
no,
that
none
would
of us
never
want to
be a
look at.
thing. That's where you'll see
Nah,
the
it's
error
not. So
404.
so
Like,
hopefully like as long as you ain't like getting like squeamish from the talk of it, we're not like doing this kind of thing. Don't worry.
yeah,
We're not
we're
gonna
not
do
about
anything.
grossing people out that badly,
Nah,
despite
not
what we
back
were
that
talking
badly.
about today.
We're
Fucking
happy to talk about this sort of thing, but like we'll
fucking
not go too
diarrhea
far
and
with
vom. Great.
it. But yeah, that was like that was the thing. Like I think I feel like it may have been more than 10 donuts as well.
Oh
I feel like
god.
it. I was a big kid back then as well,
Yeah,
so
I
I
know,
reckon
even
I.
so, but like, Jesus, like
But yeah,
before the
like
flight, even if you didn't
before the
throw
flight,
up
yeah.
before you took off, you're definitely bringing that all back up at some
Yeah,
point.
that
My
was no,
god.
the thing is, I didn't even feel it the whole time I was walking to the thing. Like it's only when I sat down, the plane started doing the reverse thing, like where it starts like
Yeah.
slowly moving. That's when it hit me out of nowhere. Like I didn't feel
I
that
mean, it
coming
always
at
hits
all.
you
I
at
was
the
like,
worst times, though, innit? Like
yeah.
wanting to be sick. It's always when it's the most inconvenient. It's never when it's like, oh yeah, there's a toilet right next to me, and there's plenty of
Yeah.
space, and there's like, there's no way I'm gonna inconvenience anyone except myself. It never hits you then.
Mm,
It's when you're surrounded by
no.
people. There's no toilet around. There's nowhere but on other people that this is gonna go, and then it's like, right, you're gonna throw up right now, right fucking
there's
now.
there's there's never a convenient
No.
time of like talking about this kind of thing. Like to like have that at all. So yeah, it is that that is I think that's both of our playing experiences quite summed up quite well, I think. I how did we even get to this? I think it was just talking about that guy on the plane
It
when we were
was
like,
literally, like,
yeah,
but I mean,
sleep. That's yeah,
sleep,
because we were
yeah,
talking about sleep.
sleep. And then it was that guy. But I mean, this
Yeah,
is how stuff
here
goes,
we
isn't
are.
it?
But yeah, I talk about that though. I don't know how much else you want to say. It's getting quite close to the hour. Like, do you anything else you want to say? I guess like
Nothing that I can think of.
we've hit the one subject now. Like, and I don't think going into any other subject is going to do this episode any more justice than what we know what this whole episode's been about. You probably see the title of this now, and the fact that it's probably
Yeah.
like cultured boys talk about plane
I don't
disasters. Oh
know.
god, no, that's a different kind.
No,
That's a
no,
different
no,
kind of
no. It
plane. No,
won't be
no,
that.
no, no,
No,
no, no, no, no.
as the one who normally comes up with the titles, it's gonna be something simple and really easy to come up with because I don't put that much effort in, and it'll probably be boys on a plane, something like that.
Cultured boys, plain and simple.
That's actually better than my parody of Snakes on a Plane, where it's just the two of us instead of
Boys
snakes.
on the
Yeah, boys on a plane.
let's go for cultured boys, plain and simple. Let's do that.
I'm gonna have to write that
Title
down.
sorted.
Literally right now. I'm writing it down. Pepe, there's my phone. You can see it. I'm
Yeah,
writing it down right now.
Oh man, fantastic. In which case, guys, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. Thank you for listening to Cultured Boys talk about their plane dilemmas. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. I tell you what, put in the comments what your plane dilemmas were. We'd love to hear that kind of nonsense like that goes on. Any bad stuff that's gone on the plane, let us know. But
Not
yes,
too crazy though. We don't want. We don't need to scar a bunch of people, including ourselves.
Dear God, I mean, if you do, that's going to be some content, I'll tell you that.
Oh, God. No.
Right. But yes, remember, like, comment, subscribe. Try to keep your little comments of plane disaster dilemmas. Not, I need to stop saying disasters because plane disasters is a whole other thing. And realistically, if you talk about plane disasters, it's going to be quite serious.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, comment those. And also find us on all podcast platforms, links in the description. We're also on Twitter, so find us there. But yeah. Right, we will see you guys next time for another Cultured Boys episode. Bye!
Bye.